Once again, Barbara, thank you so much for the opportunity that you have given me, even to reach this stage of interviews. My name is Japheth Ogol. I want to respond to the questions that were sent to me via the email. The first question was how creating wrong tools and questions can fail to give us the information needed for the right analysis. And the best approach I will do to ensure that we generate useful data. Well, first, to ensure that you have the right question, you must understand the area of focus, the area of study or the problem. So this is done based on the readings and past literature. So if you want to develop questions, the right questions must uh, evolve around the area of study so that questions developed are not irrelevant. I want to give an example based on my research, which I've done from what African Entrepreneur Collective is doing. There's a model, one of the model is to remove barriers to growth by ensuring access to affordable finances given to the entrepreneurs. Now, if this is one of the area, and let's say a goal is to ensure that these micro entrepreneurs are operational, they remain resilient, and they are financially active even during the crisis like what now globally we are facing like COVID-19. And therefore, if that is the area and we have a standard is the goal, just to try to ensure that they remain relevant, they remain resilient, and they remain operational by doing either supplying or supporting micro entrepreneurs with accessible finance, which is affordable in form of repayable grants or business repayable grants or loans, and also training these micro entrepreneurs on the best practices and survival. Now, when you are to develop an evaluation question or a process question based on this project goal or this project problem, is one, how many entrepreneurs are accessing these repayable grants? How many are operating in the midst of Corona or COVID-19? So that's an area that I will look at these questions just to ensure that they are focused and they are researchable. Another area probably will be looking at the broadness of the question. In a research question, as much as it can be closed-ended, that is yes or no, but at times it needs to be a bit of complex or a bit of arguable so that you are not restricted or you are not just giving direct answers. For example, asking a question like, uh, has there been an increase in joblessness in Rwanda because of COVID-19? That is, well, to some extent, it's obvious. It is in the news. We have seen people complaining, losing their jobs, companies shutting down. But I would rather ask these questions in a different way. For example, how have COVID-19 affected the patterns of joblessness in Rwanda since pandemic? So that aspect of ensuring that the questions are focused, they are researchable, is an area of focus on concern while developing these tools. Another area is data source. Where do you get these answers to these questions? What will be the source of data? And there are two main data sources or three. Data can be obtained from primary research, where you conduct research by going out there and collecting quantitative data, interviewing respondents, getting their opinions, or data can be from qualitative aspect of it. This is kind of focus group discussions, doing key informant interviews, or just doing uh, in-depth interviews with the people or think tanks, people with opinions and understanding concerning a matter or an issue in a society. So this data source is very key. And again, as you look at this data source, it can also be on document analysis, where you review documents, and then you get information from what has already been done in the past. So understanding where you'll get answers to the research question is very key while developing research questions, because you can have a research question that you don't have specific target group, specific people, or there is no data, or you are likely not to get data because people do not understand it or people don't have information about it. Again, there is need to understand the level of measurement, or what is called the scales, or there are four main scales or levels of measurements while developing research questions, and that is nominal, that is non-numeric, like gender. What is the gender category? Sex, are you male, female, or unknown? Level of education, marital status, those can be nominal. So this needs to be classified or categorized well while developing this tool. And then we also have ordinal questions that probably are to be arranged in order, like the Likert scale questions, looking at the level of agreement. To what extent do you agree to this statement? Strongly agree, agree, not sure, disagree, strongly disagree. But again, it is important to specify what you mean. Questions can be designed, and then this level of agreement are coded in numbers. It is important to specify that 5 represent what, 4 represent what, or given a scale of 0 to 10, rate your rate your level of satisfaction on the grants, repayable grants that AEC, African Entrepreneur Collective, is giving the youth. Do you feel satisfied or not? Then you say that 5 strongly satisfied or very satisfied, and then 3 not satisfied, so that as the collection is being done, even the scale and the level and the coded is clearly understood, so that you don't get 5 while you meant not satisfied. That can mislead even in the analysis and the quality of data. Uh, Another level of measurement is interval. This one's like, we have data which can be obtained through measuring, and those that can be obtained through counting, like the number of people in a household. That is discrete information. You cannot give a survey or a questionnaire giving options that how many do you have in the household? Then you have 1, 2.5, 7, 3.5. That is misleading because human being cannot be a half. But there's other aspect of data which can be obtained through measuring, like age. You can give your age in years or in months or in days. So that need to be specified in the tool so that it is clear whether you want to collect age as a numeric data or age already coded. But personally, I will prefer data age in numeric because it is easy to code using the statistical analysis than giving the coded one, which might be misleading. And then the last one is on the ratio. Of course, ratio can be added, can be subtracted, can be divided and multiplied. Those are 2 aspects for me to consider to ensure that we have good research question. The third one is on realistic and specific. Is this data real? Is it specific in terms of who is being targeted here? Where? What information is to be collected? For example, you need to ensure that you avoid jargons, avoid vague language, avoid too broad terminologies. Like, look at what is the effect of social media on people's mind. That's a very broad question. That is too wide. But you can rather say, what effect does use of Twitter have on the attention span of teens, people who are under 19 years, who are known to be in social media, in their phones and in their computer? That makes it now to be very specific. So questions need to be very specific, need to be very realistic, there are questions that can be answered. And then they avoid conclusive statements. They need to avoid conclusive statements. Like research is not to give instruction, but basically to inform. Like a good question to AEC, for example, what should we do to loan defaulters? To me, that is more of an instruction, but rather, what are the most strategies for increasing grants repayments? That is for informing so that you can get information. So that is my take concerning this first question. On the second question, which is on how will you approach a staff like an enumerator who keeps bringing reliable data this time but unreliable data the other day? Well, based on my experience, these are things I've encountered in my position as monitor evaluation. But my some of the best practices that I adopt is to create an interaction with this staff, create an environment, probably by booking an appointment, or as I do the normal review of the performance, so that through this I can have a one-on-one discussion, recognize successes where the enumerator has done well, but also on one way or the other, put areas of observation that needs improvement. Through this, I'm able to understand the staff. I'm able to know whether the staff is enjoying work or straining or going through some family challenges, things that we can only discuss well when we have a one-on-one discussion. But my approach will range from looking at three main aspects, looking at the technical determinants. Do the staff understand the tool? Do they understand the standard indicators? Do they know the terminologies? Or they have some complications that they cannot understand, or they keep on confusing these terms? And then look at the data collection forms. Do they have the right tools? Because I've also observed that some use old tools. We update a tool. Probably if we are doing mobile data collection, they don't obtain the right form. They use the previous forms with errors that was for pre-testing and piloting, or they don't have physical form. They have torn papers. They cannot see clear indicators. Some information are missing. So I need to find out this and look at their IT skills. Are they able to document? Do they have challenges on documentation or understanding these terminologies? Do they know if we use mobile data collection? Do they have challenges like the skip pattern? Do they just feed for the sake of feeding information? And looking at the way data is presented, do they have challenges on the data presentation, on the arrangement, on the ascending order, descending, or is there confusion, especially on the skip pattern? Some questions ask you to skip, but you find that they don't skip for verification. We leave it open just to find out if you understood the question. And do they need refresher training? Do the staff need refresher training or retraining on this tool? So those are things I can find out when I have one-on-one discussion with the staff. Another area, look at the system and the environment, like resources. Do they have relevant, what we call in model evaluation as inputs? Do they have the right resources? If there are times like we used to reimburse fare, you use your fare to go and collect data, but you are reimbursed. But you find that some staff have challenges. They don't have money, so they don't go. They end up cooking data or making a phone call for just feeding, which is very unethical. So those are things I need to understand. Need to understand their roles, whether if they are doing this collection, they take the respondent through the tool or the respondent answer these tools alone. But that can also lead to poor quality. Do they understand their roles and responsibility in the process of the collection? What is our organization culture? It's also very key. How do we collect data? Go paper form, or do we collect data through the mobile digital forms? If it is the mobile digital forms, like experience in developing the CompCare tools, use CompCare software to develop tools, ODK, Survey CTO. I develop this and ensure that some of these data quality challenges, I validate them in the form so that you cannot skip to the next question without answering. You cannot give age beyond the target group. You cannot. It limits you. So and if you put an error, I put pop error. So excuse me, you have entered a wrong name, you have entered a wrong age bracket. So those are some of the validation that if in the organization culture we use mobile data collection, then those are some of the things I can put to ensure that data quality is improved and the work of the staff is also enhanced. My last is on the behavior of these behavioral aspects of it. Are they motivated? Because it is the employee or it is the enumerator to make the respondent understand the need of quality data. The respondent does not know whether they give false information because of the fear of fault finding or victimization. They need to assure them of their privacy, confidentiality, and motivate this so that they are motivated in what they are doing. So I look at this, I look at the attitude and the values. Do they have challenges in terms of some questions, or they just have I don't care attitude, that I don't care whether I give quality. So those are some of the things that I will address, build the confidence of this enumerator, and also just encourage a sense of responsibility, and also to ensure that they are responsible for quality data, and they also need to be patient because some tools are very long. So if they are not patient, they might hurry. I personally did a study which was taking 4 hours to complete, and I saw colleagues cooking data. I saw colleagues rushing to fill the information. So that also might make me to also find out whether they are comfortable with the target or the target is too high. Basically, those are areas I will look at this and address appropriately. After this our discussion, I'll develop what is called data quality plan. How do I track this? How do I follow up to see that what we have discussed is actually going to be implemented by giving timely feedback on reporting rates, troubleshooting data quality issues, and sharing with the appropriate enumerator for adjustment and improvement. And basically, whoever is doing well is going to reward or recognize these employees, recognize their skills, so that people learn from one another. If one keep on emerging to be the best with good data quality indicators in terms of completeness, in terms of accuracy, in terms of timeliness, validity, and precision, it is good to recognize such an employee and also encourage by sharing with the whole team and giving that level of effort. On whether I have a relative or close friends at AEC or Kenya that you can refer as well. This is my first time to learn of this position online from the website, but I don't have a relative with AEC, but I have my referees who have been my direct supervisors. I have been reporting to them. They can help getting more information about me. In terms of salary expectation, well, based on my experience, 7 years experience in monitoring evaluation, in data management, uh, level of education, I have a master's degree that is in biostatistics and epidemiology. And the roles and responsibility of this position, I'm much flexible, but I put my expectation between 236,000 Kenyan money, that is 360 USD to 280,000 Kenyan money, or 2,800 USD. Otherwise, thank you so much, Barbara. I hope for the best. Thank you, and bye bye.